don't even put that in your mind that, hey, you're gonna like network and this guy's gonna do you favors, et cetera, et cetera. Just say that you're just trying to be his friend and you're just trying to genuinely know him. Don't even think about the business aspect. Don't think about anything. Just
For me, I have 3 tips for introverts. We'd like to talk about networking do's and don'ts for introverts. In the last episode, we talked about the do's and don'ts for extroverts. You know, Kevin, I want to have you start this off. Would you consider yourself more of an introvert?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all right, cool. Didn't want to just label anyone, but I figured it's not like you don't network or like you don't know how. And like, it's not like you didn't build any connections or relationships over the years. So you do have your tactics. And I would love to hear some of your do's, what you do in order to make a connection networking. And I think it's important for people to hear your perspective and your angle rather than 2 extroverts.
So the funny thing is that a lot of people, when they kind of first meet me, is that they don't exactly think that I'm an introvert, but I very much am. And I also have a lot of kind of social anxiety. And it's, even though when I meet people, I get very, very nervous. I've gotten a little bit better over the years to kind of hide that, but it's still really tough for me to do those in-person things. So one thing that a good friend of mine told me is to, as far as networking and whatnot, is to kind of think of it as you're making friends. It's like, don't even put that in your mind that, hey, you're going to like network and this guy's going to do you favors, et cetera, et cetera. Just say that you're just trying to be his friend and you're just trying to genuinely know him. Don't even think about the business aspect. Don't think about anything. Just try to be friends with this guy. And if he's an asshole or whoever it is, if they, sorry, but if they turn out to be, you know, a jerk or they don't want to get to know you, then that's someone you don't want to network with anyways. If that's even if it's someone who's really important to your business strategy or whatever, if they really don't want to be your friend or if they don't even want to give you the chance, then maybe not the best person to partner up with.
I love that. I love that. And I think, you know, carrying on from the last episode on extroverts, I think it's the same tip and advice, right? Now, how do you make friends, right? Because introverts are like, all right, that's great. How do I make friends? Well, the advice is simple. Ask them questions. Be interested in them.
Absolutely.
Right? Why are they there at the event? Who are they excited to see? What are they drinking? Right? I think these are timeless tips for introverts and extroverts. And so for any introvert asking, well, how do I go about making friends? Make the subject the most interesting person that you're trying to get to know and ask them questions. And if you're really that nervous, come up with 4 or 5 questions in your back pocket that you always know that will work every time. Anything else you want to add, Kevin, before I turn it over to Gino?
Yeah, other than just trying to make friends, it's just, generally speaking, don't put too much pressure on yourself. And then if there's ever a moment, because there are times when I talk to people and then it's just like, oh, I get a little anxious or I feel like, oh, maybe this conversation isn't going places. And, you know, you kind of get in your own head. It's okay to just exit. In fact, like Gia, you said, sometimes it's actually better in some ways, to kind of give them like, oh, that was a really interesting conversation. Or, you know, like you don't want to give too much away at this one time. And if you just say, okay, well, you know what, enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully I'll see you on the dance floor, blah, blah, blah. And if naturally you guys happen to meet on the dance floor and it turns out you're having a great time naturally, that's even better. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that this goes for both introverts and extroverts. Know when to exit. When a conversation is going really good, actually exit right there. Hey, it was really nice connecting with you. You know, figure out ways to stay connected either through a follow, right? Hey, what's your Instagram? I'll follow you. No one's going to say no to that, right? I mean, that's the world we live in today. Or if it's going really bland, hey, thank you so much for your time. I'll catch you around. By the way, what's your Instagram? I'd love to follow you. I mean, either or, at least you're leaving it in a very neutral state of things. And knowing when to exit is even more important than saying hello. That's actually really, really good tip, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should. I'm going to keep emphasizing on that. Gino, do you have anything to add? Because I have something to say.
Yeah, I was going to say one tip also is that if like large groups bother you, try to attend more like smaller groups. It might be easier on an introvert to attend these groups than rather large groups and everyone. And also, I think one advantage that introverts have is that they're pretty good listeners. So they should probably take that to their advantage and absorb what they hear and then ask, you know, more like direct and personal questions with them that you can relate to because essentially they're good listeners. So I would suggest that. Also, don't put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you know, so that way you don't increase that level of anxiety that you have. You know, start off small with little events and see how that makes you feel and handle that and then further expand on that until you're, you know, comfortable with these gatherings.
For me, I have 3 tips for introverts. Number 1, which I mentioned earlier, build context, right? If you know that this person is going to be at the event, look, chances are DMing them, reaching them via email, to letting them know that you're going to be there, right? I feel like that kind of eases off whatever first time interactions. At least you're building some sort of rapport, right? If you're able to do that, I think that never hurts, because that's when actually when you meet up, you can be like, hey, we DM'd each other, or hey, I DM'd you, letting you know I was going to be here. But at the same time, you can also look at their social profiles, and like there's got to be things that you can ask questions. Hey, I saw you were on this snowboarding trip. I saw you were out at this national park. How was it? I've always wanted to go. Assuming you really do want to go. Don't just fucking make that up, right? But find if there's any similar interests that you guys have through their social. So build context and actually understand that person, so that you can curate your questions more towards their interests. Number 2, I would say, you know what? Wear a cool shirt. I feel like for introverts as well, wearing a shirt that like just, hey, all right, cool, you're part of the scene, or like, hey, wear a shirt of your favorite artist, wear a shirt of something that gets people to like take notice of. I think that is like a very indirect way for introverts to be extroverts, and that is to wear something that people would tell you, hey, nice shirt, or at least builds context into it. Number 3, crap, what's number 3? I love this, man, where I'm just in my own train of thoughts. But ultimately, I think having your set of questions ready to go and practicing that question. There you go. Number 3 is practice. Believe it or not, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. And there's several ways to practice. I know it sounds ridiculous. Number 1, practice with your significant others, assuming that they're super supportive. Let them know, I have social anxiety. Even though I don't have anxiety dealing with you internally, once I'm facing the world, I have anxiety. I teach people how to practice that. So there's that. Number 2, in terms of how to practice, is situational. Meditate and put yourself in that position. Put yourself in that state of stress and see yourself through, right? How are you engaging with that person? How are you even saying hi, right? Practice that. Looking in your mirror, like, how do you say hi? Is it weird? Is it like, hey, or is it like, hey, how's it going? I know it sounds ridiculous, but trust me, it's more ridiculous when you fucking fuck it up in person. That like you build all these things and the opportunities in front of you, and crap, you don't know how to say hello because you're too nervous. So get yourself in that motion, right? The repetition helps. Last but not least, I kid you not, whenever there are workshops, whether online or offline, or when we do our Zoom calls, shouting out to all the introverts. These are a great way for you to just be present in the moment of all the people that are involved in your scene, whether it's us, the people that's hosting these, online workshops or online Zoom calls, or other peers that are there that you can connect with. I think those are 3 ways that can help you practice to become better, because at the end of the day, you can plan all you want. You can have context, you can have your questions ready, but if you don't have that real life interaction, like, all right, here we are, talk to me, it's never going to be smooth and it's never going to feel natural for you. So that's my ultimate tip for introverts and even extroverts, is to practice that interaction before it comes. It's like selling yourself. It's like making a friend. A lot of us don't really know how to make friends either. I mean, we stopped making friends after high school or college, right? A lot of our interactions, the friends that we do have now, they naturally came about through networking. It's not because we knocked on the door, but let's be friends. Like, no, it's through the natural communication, through time, and through our interactions that we became friends. Networking with anyone in the industry is the same thing. Anything you guys want to add?
No, I think you nailed it.
Bring a lighter.
Yeah. What was that?
Bring a lighter.
Yeah. Yes.
The
Bring
smokers,
a lighter.
man, I mean, that's always been one trick someone always taught me, is just if you're outside and there's a smoker, then just bring a lighter, light them up. And
dude, I went as far as having so I'm not even a smoker. Back in the day, I would just have 2 packs of cigarette in my pocket.
That's a good
2
one.
packs, and anyone that's asking me for a cigarette or a lighter, they're walking into my trap.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. You know what? Let's definitely turn these into blog posts and even like quick hit like social media videos as well. I feel like a lot of people that are confused with networking, both extroverts and introverts needs to know this. So, while we have the 3 video series out, I feel like this is something that we should continuously double down on. And while I have us on video, that's the dedication we have here at Artist Map and faculty. of electronic music. We believe certain topics should get more attention than it deserves, and I feel like networking is just a big one that we need to continuously, hone down. And look, we're going to continue to do our private, or not private, but we're going to continue to do our Zoom calls and Zoom meetings. And we encourage, especially if you're an introvert, it's perfect. You can sit and say nothing. Just sit and bask in the present and just hit mute and just be nervous. It's okay. Just go through that nervous feeling, even though you're not saying anything. Or worse, we're going to get everyone to introduce themselves. So you better get used to it as well. So let's continue to do our part, guys, to, help this community become better networkers, engagers, if you will. That's it for this episode of our YouTube and podcast series. My name is Gio with 6 a.m. Artist Map.
Atroxx, Faculty of Electronic Music.
Kevin, 6 a.m. Artist Map.
All right. Saying peace out from, Artist Map and Faculty of Electronic Music. Be sure you subscribe, like, comment, and check out all the links below. We'll catch you on the next one. All right.